2021, 4 men got together to make a radio show that nobody asked for. This is the result.
Welcome to Broad Street Radio. I'm Michael Morris. With me, my buddy Jeff O'Neill. Jeff, how are you?
Good. Thanks.
Now, Jeff, you're new to this experience, so I hope it is just as awful it is for everybody else that comes.
I'm sure it will be.
Well, welcome.
You're a professional at this.
Now, the reason I brought you in here is normally Jonathan Meanick, who his real name is John E. Cash.
Yes.
So Jonathan's on the show a lot, and he is our financial wizard, but you're a money guy. Is it fair to say? Like,
Yep.
You could let people know what it is that you do.
Yeah. I started a business called Prime Ally Lenders. We do commercial loans for businesses, hoping to, keep their cash flow going, buy new products and services.
So the reason I think this is important to have a conversation today is we were kind of talking before we started. The LA Lakers, it's the Staples Center, which is in downtown LA, is now going to be called, I believe it's crypto.com for the next 10 years. Mm-hmm. And, we talk, we're in a networking group anyway, and so we always talk about things, but I never really got your take on what you think is going on in this economy. Mm-hmm. But when I see something like that and I see commercials with Tom Brady and Matt Damon, everybody from New England basically is in on the crypto thing, right?
Yeah, crypto is going crazy these days. Every time you turn around, somebody else, half the professional sports players or athletes, they're getting...
They want to be paid in it.
Yeah, part of their payments. It's unbelievable to me. But at the same time, it's a risk. They're taking a risk because crypto is like any investment in the stock market that you make. It's going to go up and it's going to go down based on the environment that we're in, the financial environment that we're in.
I'm glad that you said it like that because... when people ask me, first of all, I love when people think because I have a podcast or something that I know the answers. I don't know the answers to anything. And these guys can all attest. I don't know what I'm talking about. But on another show, I am a lawyer. But on this show, the question I have is, when I look at it, people will say, do I own any crypto or NFTs or any of that? I'm supremely old school. Mm-hmm. So I can't change it. And I look at it and I'm like, you kids get off my lawn with that fake coin. But I keep hearing it over and over again and people saying how they're making money. But my question to you would be, let me ask this first question. Is it an investment? Do you see it as an investment?
I believe it is. You can farm crypto. And that's where you get into the computer geek stuff, and I'm not that guy. I know it's something, my son did it while he was in high school from our network, and sometimes he'd crash our network. There's ways to harvest it without buying it, but most people are buying it, especially these days. So you buy it, the goal is buy low, sell high. And that's what's happening with all these athletes is they're turning their income, the cash, for the crypto instead of taking the cash, which isn't really going to go up and see appreciation.
I thought they were doing it for the tax benefit. Like, oh, I lost all this money in crypto. Like I'm making $30 million, but I got 15 of it in crypto. And then the next couple of years it would go up. Again, this is how little I know about the crypto thing. So I'm not the expert.
Me either. But crypto is still taxed by federal government. They're going to still get their piece.
Are you paying your taxes?
Yes.
I refuse.
Yes.
I heard.
Is this being recorded?
No. Listen, it is, but no one listens.
Okay.
When Ice Cube said he didn't pay taxes, I thought I don't have to pay taxes either. Mm-hmm. First of all, who makes that? Like you're a famous person, you go, I don't pay taxes.
Yeah. Well, we know what happened to Wesley Snipes.
I think Wesley Snipes went out of his way to be an asshole about it, though. Like, he didn't tell them he wasn't going to pay taxes, and when they brought it up, he said, I refuse.
Yeah.
But if you're getting paid in crypto, like this is when they said you could buy a Tesla and they would accept Dogecoin. Remember that? Mm-hmm. And I just thought, okay, but what's the value? Here, let me tell you my concern. Mm-hmm. Jeff, I'm going to give you this one Dogecoin and it's worth $1,000 a day and it's worth $1 billion tomorrow. I would murder you for that. For me making that transaction with you because
later
I didn't know.
Right.
Later? No, right then. I might do it just anyway, just if I give you the coin. And then Nate tells me it's not a real coin. Like I can't actually have it in my hand.
No, you can't. Sorry.
I don't understand any of
virtual.
This. But do you feel like that's an investment or gambling? Because here's the thing I want to say. Mm-hmm. You could invest in Enron, like we can name off 20 different companies.
Right. It's the same.
It is still a gamble. My thing with it is, since it fluctuates so much, I would be so nervous I would be checking it every 20 minutes to see if it's losing value.
It's like any other stock. It's going to have its up times and its down times. And when you buy into it, plan to buy into it for the long haul, because it is going to continue up. When we've seen crashes in crypto, they've always recovered, and they've recovered more than they've lost. So you're making money on crypto these days. Will that happen forever? I don't know. Is crypto, the flavor of the month? It could be. Everybody talks that it's a permanent thing, that we're not going to see it disappear. It's an international currency that you don't have to worry about in exchange rates. They take care of themselves. Right. So it's got some convenience. It's a digital coin for a digital world. So you don't have to worry about real paper or our hypothetical money system where there's supposed to be a bar of gold sitting behind your dollar bill.
Right.
It hasn't been that way for years.
Well, we don't. Who took us off the gold standard? Was it Nixon took us off the gold standard?
Okay, you tell me.
Well, no, I'm just saying there was a period of time where everything said this unit was backed in gold, and now it says "In God We Trust."
Yeah. So,
and that's not. I want to say that was around the late 60s or 70s. But again,
it was even. I think it was sooner than that, earlier than that. It's about making people comfortable with the money. We didn't have a national coin when we first got started in the United States. There were regional coins, and banks would build their own coins in some cases.
Well, there was the greenback. If you really like that term, nobody uses that term anymore. But I remember as a kid, my dad would say, "I'll give you a couple of greenbacks if you cut the grass." And I thought, I don't know what that is. But that's what we went to war about, is that we didn't, in this country, we didn't have our own currency. So as soon as we came up with it, the British were like, "No, you can't use it." What I like about it is I feel anything that upsets the system, like I'm for, right? So anything that bothers the normals, I'm all about. My bigger issue is when you're seeing the normals and the 1% normals get involved. I'm like, they know something and they have more buying power than we have, right?
Right.
But at any time, I feel like they could dump out of it. When Elon Musk sends out a tweet, it can go up or it can go down.
Yes.
So it's that fluctuation that I think would scare the average person away from doing it.
I don't really know how to answer that other than to point to other examples.
Oh, I don't think there is one answer.
We had that happen with GameStop recently.
Oh,
where they were sending the stock through the roof.
AMC was the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that was all just people giving hype to it and artificially inflating the value.
Right.
There was no real value. In fact, if you look at all of the stocks in the world today, we're really not buying stocks based on the value of the company. We're buying stocks based on the value of the paper.
Or what somebody else is touting.
Right.
Right. So if someone else, Jim Cramer is my favorite person to watch because I don't know that he knows what he's talking about, but he sure makes you want to buy.
Okay.
Do you ever watch that Mad Money?
Yeah.
He's the guy that's always screaming about things, and it's like, and he's wrong more than he's right.
Right.
But when he's right, it's kind of like sports gambling.
He's loud about it.
I picked the Patriots 45-7 over the Browns. I knew it was going to happen. Don't worry about the other 10 games I missed. Right. You only highlight your winners.
Oh yeah. Look over here.
Yeah. But that also goes to the state of, we were kind of also discussing about the economy in general right now, how it is. Right. So I think at a time where you have this kind of new, exciting cryptocurrency fervor, at the same time when it looks like the dollar buys less, and you're dealing with people who are buying buildings and buying properties and that.
Right.
What is your take from the people that you're talking to in that world? Not about cryptocurrency, just the economy.
Just the economy. Well, I personally, looking at some of the things that have happened, they were coming. Before we hit COVID, we started seeing a lot of businesses accepting work from home employees. We've seen office buildings kind of devalued. But as this hit, there so many of the large businesses decided they no longer needed large buildings, and they were sending people home. That's good for the large business because they no longer have to pay rent on a building and utilities on a building, and have large group of people that they're responsible for. They send everybody home. Now it's your responsibility to pay your heat, provide your own coffee, make sure that your internet's working. You're in charge of your own
You
world.
make it sound like that's a bad thing.
I do think so. I think to an extent, I still value the workplace, and I think there's a purpose for it because you won't get ahead if you're not playing a social game. There's a social game that helps everyone accelerate their career. You have to have a mentor who will pull you along as they move along. Well,
I didn't think about that part of it. I mean, that is, so I've had it both ways, right?
Yeah.
So I'm 46 now. For the first 12, 13 years, I was in an office environment. Mm-hmm. And then I've been in my own office in my house.
Same for me.
And in the beginning, the hardest part is going to the coffee machine, talking to other people, or being able to confer with somebody else because, what is it? Anybody that would hire themselves as their own attorney is an idiot, that kind of thing. Yeah. So when you're questioning something, you don't have anyone to bounce it off of, right? So you're going to make some pretty aggressive mistakes. Though what I do think is we have gotten people, if you're not working for yourself and you're working in an office environment, you're kind of training your people to be a link in a chain. Mm-hmm. Those people can never be free from that chain, though, because they haven't gotten that experience. What I think you're seeing, and I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but I think if you set somebody free, entrepreneurship is the one thing in this country that you could do. We don't encourage it as much because we encourage you to go to school,
get your college degree,
get a job where you can work there 30 years. And I think we're probably similar in age, pretty close, I would say. That was the thing. I
think you're older than me.
Oh, I might be. I mean, my hair is 60 years old. It's just gray and white. But when I look at it and I say, I didn't know another entrepreneur, like I literally just quit my job at 33 to start. And when I look back on it,
yep,
I should have done it, but I also, what the hell was I doing? Because I thought I'll find somebody else that's done this. Mm-hmm. There was nobody else I could find in my field that had done it.
Yeah.
So in other fields, like in accounting or something like that, I think you could get on your own, but I think you're more just trading the freedom.
There's training that has to be done in all careers. A friend of mine is an attorney, and he got his law degree. Went to work for a company downtown. The day he showed up for work is the day they closed their doors. So the building manager comes to him and they say, well, you're here. Why don't you just take over the space, hang out your shingle? And it set him up for failure because he didn't have the training of how to run a law office or a law practice. He didn't know how to market. He didn't know how to find the clients. He didn't know how to network to make those things happen. So he's set himself out there, which is great. He's trying to be an entrepreneur, but he didn't have the keys, the tools for success.
Right.
So I think that's part of why an office environment is beneficial. I don't want to see everyone in the office environment all the time. I think working from home is good. But I do think that companies are taking advantage of that to a degree. You know, you're seeing a lot of companies that are saying, well, we're going to cut your salary because you don't have to drive to work anymore.
I did actually hear that because somebody said that they were paid 80% of the value of if they were coming to work every day during the pandemic. And it didn't change because you're still working from home.
Right.
And, I thought that seems to be really unfair, except for people didn't complain in the beginning because I don't have to go to work. I can be if I can have one more person tell me I'm in my pajamas all day and I'm doing my job. Right. First of all, you probably shit at your job anyway, so you probably don't care.
You've been at this a long time, been at home. How many times did you not get up and get dressed and be ready for work?
Oh my God. Listen, you don't understand. As Nate or anybody can tell you, you call me other than Monday nights from say 5 to 7 o'clock. This phone is always on because I always feel like I need to be there to answer your call because I don't know when you need something.
Yeah.
But I think that when you're on your own, the way I would say it, it's kind of like you're a trapeze artist and there's no net and everything is a concrete floor, right?
I called it juggling cats.
Yeah.
While somebody's trying to shoot them with a squirt gun.
Because every day, I used to think you had to work every single day like someone was going to take it away from you. You don't. It is only you can set this forest ablaze that you've planted all these trees. Mm-hmm. You can always plant more trees, but then it's the time waiting to get there for this to be fruitful again. what I see is the people that I know that are working from home they're thinking it's the greatest thing because they're watching television or they're watching Netflix or they're playing Xbox.
Shame on them.
But again, I think there is something to, if I gave you too much freedom, you're going to abuse it. Mm-hmm. And now people don't want to come back. I mean, what was it? We've had 5 million people in a 2-month period resign from their jobs. Not that they didn't go back. They just resigned.
They resigned, right. They're getting other jobs. They're working from home, starting their own businesses.
But again, there can't be 5 million entrepreneurs, right? Because entrepreneurs, I think you have to have a passion for what you're doing to the point where it's not a job. It's not a job. Like you can't wait to get up and do it again the next day.
It's a spike. It's an artificial spike caused by COVID, by the environment we're living in. We started feeding money into the system. It created an artificial spike. Everybody thought they had money. They started spending it. It has done some good. Some people have gone back to school, got more education, and they've been able to start new professional careers. But in general, what we've done is we've borrowed the money from our futures to pay for today. And COVID is something nobody understands. It's not just the disease. It's the problems that it has brought to our society and our economy. Socializing has become a nightmare for people.
Right.
How do you do it? How do you grow a business as an entrepreneur? Used to be, you had, as an entrepreneur, you were part salesperson. You had to go out and you had to meet and greet people. You had to shake a lot of hands, knock on doors. You got turned down a lot, but you went out and you met people. Now, how do you meet people? You can't walk in their door. They're not there. And if they are there, they got the door locked because they don't want to see you.
It's a very good point because I think the flip side of that was during the pandemic, people would call me. First of all, I was sitting around. I wasn't doing anything, so I was grateful that you called.
Yeah.
But it would be like, I don't know if you want to meet or not, and I'll take the meeting. My advantage was I was willing to do it. But again, I didn't. It was a whole new world, so I didn't understand what we were getting into. So I didn't understand the severity of this because when you're stuck in your house and you're not interacting, you don't know that it's deadly. When you see something on TV, again, if it bleeds, it leads. So you're like, of course, all these people are dying, but I don't know anybody.
Right.
And then as you start to develop this over time and you're in offices and then people are getting sick with it and all that. And it's like, either I'm extremely lucky or this thing's not that big a deal. I just always assumed I was extremely lucky. But the thing I missed the most, again, was the interaction.
Yep. Just
the day-to-day, like, Nate and I will sit here while he's setting this stuff up for 20 minutes and just talk. Mm-hmm. We didn't have that.
No.
Until whoever you were quarantined with, that's all you had.
Right. You picked up the phone and you called somebody, but that was a phone call.
Right.
And a phone call is just totally different than that.
It was almost like you were breaking up with a girlfriend, though. Like, I don't want you to get off the phone because I know we might not talk for a while.
Yeah, but that's I don't want to talk to you. So, I'm going to hang up.
No, you wanted to talk to me.
I did want to talk to you?
You would have.
Oh, okay.
I'd have read poetry in your ear. I'd have made you a mixtape just to keep you on the phone.
Yeah, that would have been
good. You missed out. I'm glad I didn't know you during the pandemic.
No kidding.
But
it's over?
See, I don't know. I don't know. I'm waiting on someone like France to have that white towel. We surrender. I'm waiting to find out when that's going to happen. But the future of work, I'd love your perspective on this because I really didn't think about this before. Mm-hmm. Because again, I'm always on my own and have been for over a decade. So hearing somebody else's take on this, I think is really smart. But the future of work, what do you think that looks like? Because I'll tell you this, when I went to Milwaukee, I drove to Milwaukee to see a show with my daughter and we walked around all of downtown and Milwaukee was a beautiful city, all that. Nothing was open. And all of these big buildings where there would be industry in there, whether it was like the newspaper was gone, just gone. The building was
happening. The newspaper's a buggy whip.
Right. But that was gone. So I thought, okay, I understand that. But when department stores, like an entire strip, are empty and they just have for rent or lease signs, it made me curious as to what is going on next.
Okay. Amazon has changed the world just like Walmart changed the world. Walmart started, we had small mom and pop shops in small towns. Walmart built big stores, built everything in, and they closed down mom and pop. Okay, great. Amazon comes along and Amazon says, I can do it better than Walmart. And they start shipping everything to your house. And they build big warehouses where they ship everything out of. And they have been going crazy. And COVID was tailor-made for their business. Right. It has, in fact, if you really want to think about where all the employees have gone, Amazon. They're paying well.
I think they're paying $14.75 an hour.
I thought they were 18 as a minimum.
Just to start. No. So like if you have no skill at all, if you can drive a forklift, you can make $25.
Yeah.
But again, if I just said, hey, I just need you to sort some boxes.
Right.
That's a $5 job when I was a kid. Now it's like you're going to make more than somebody with a master's degree.
Because they have to. Right. Because they got to have the employees because they're selling the product. And they've changed retail a lot because you no longer have to have a big box in order to sell your product. You sell it virtually. Well, now all of these big stores, Walmarts and Best Buys and everybody else, they can't survive. They're trying to pay for these expensive retail stores. And you're seeing it. They've closed. Well, what's going to end up happening is a reverse to the simpler times when we had mom and pop shops. Because Amazon can't teach you the knowledge that you need. Right. You can go online and you can try and find it, but it's difficult, especially if you don't have a base of knowledge to work from. I don't want to try to go out and buy a TV today online. I don't know what's the difference between an LCD and a plasma.
I didn't even know back then.
Yeah.
But I did like the salesman telling me, you need this. It has grommets in it. Oh, I'll take those.
Okay, then that must be a thing.
That sounds delicious.
Exactly. So you had that specialist in the store. And the specialist originally started it in the small shop, and then they moved into the big store, and now Amazon's there. Amazon doesn't have specialists. If they have a specialist, it's somebody on a phone somewhere you don't know. You don't care about them. So they started building these local cities back up, the small towns. Some of the people who used to work for Walmart, they're opening up the small stores again. Prices are going to be a little higher in those places, but you're going to go there because you need the knowledge on how to do something or why to do something. Right. So it's changing our environment. We are going to see large cities are going to shrink. We do have, I think, some repurposing of some of the buildings that are out here. I think we're going to see a lot of restructuring to residential properties and things. But yeah, you're going to lose office space and retail space especially restaurants.
I like that you're ending on a low. I mean, we've run out of time today, and you're saying everything is terrible and you hate big box.
I think it's a different world. We're changing. Don't worry about whether we're at a high or a low. We're going to go. It's changing. Live with the change, enjoy the change, take advantage of the change. That's what, tie it back to crypto. That's what crypto's about. It's a change.
I like how you put the button on it. You went all the way back to crypto. You're good. That's why you're never coming on the show again. Okay, Jeff,
I'm sorry.
Thanks for being here this week, and we'll see you next weekend.